Hello and welcome to the Anime Dumpster Dive seasonal anime podcast, where we discuss an anime that is currently airing. Today we will be discussing the first 3 episodes of The Rise of the Shield Hero. Can an isekai where a guy mains a tank be interesting? Let's talk about it. I'm your host and edgy shield hero, Jake H. As always, I am joined by my co-host and ladies man spear hero, DJ.
That guy's a dick. I don't want to be him.
And my other co-host and raccoon Demi Human, Anthony.
Hey! I said the thing, you made me the thing!
Yeah, I'm nice.
If you could just pick what you want to be, I want to be the Blacksmith.
The Blacksmith? Well, we're doing something different this season, and we're splitting our seasonal anime from our bad anime reviews to shorten the length of our podcast. So,
Ooh, baby.
Woo! Yeah, shorter videos, more work for Jake.
Call us crazy. Well, we're going for it. Boys. What's an isekai, Jake? You use words
DJ,
I don't know.
It's a type of anime trope where a guy is transported to another world.
Yes,
How did you know this?
Isekai literally means another world.
One of your favorite anime is an
Which
isekai.
one?
One of your favorite ones. Think about it. Where a guy gets transported to a whole nother world?
Boku no Piku?
Yeah, he gets transported to prison.
It's a whole other world than
I've heard it's a whole other world.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask, what's your, to get into this, what's some of your guys' favorite isekai genre anime? But considering DJ can't even remember that ReZero is...
I wouldn't call it one of my
the best
favorite ones. Is that what Anthony was referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just fine and dandy. I wouldn't call it one of my favorite animes.
Oh, well, there you go. I would call it
I like another isekai, which is Yokosuba. Better than Konosuba. Better than ReZero. I like Konosuba better.
Konosuba.
I like them both. I'm a big fan of Overlord as well, and of course the currently airing That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is
Slime is very good.
It's really an oversaturated genre. Like there's so many. Like I guess Sword Art Online is another isekai. I feel like it's actually always like .Hack was an isekai. Like sometimes they take place in a video game, sometimes they take place in a fantasy world, but especially lately, like there's That Time I Got Transported to Another World with my cell phone. Or That Time I Got Summoned as a Demon Lord.
Yeah, yep.
And
there's also the trope isekai episode of animes as well, where they have to go into a digital world to do something. Blah blah blue blue.
Yeah, I feel like that's not even exclusive to anime anymore. Mm-mm. Like there's like an episode of Voltron where it takes place in a D&D universe because they were playing D&D.
Right.
So, there you go. Yeah, or Yu-Gi-Oh's got an episode like that.
Yeah, where they get sucked. They play the video game, and I remember that episode. Joey
Wheeler.
Joey's the barbarian. Yeah, I remember.
Joey Wheeler.
So, like with that,
Flyweight chain.
That's not even the same episode.
Baby drink.
And there you guys go. If you needed a Joey Wheeler soundboard, DJ's got you covered.
He's my fucking hero, man.
So with that being said, with just how many isekais are out there, it's kind of hard to keep like that idea fresh, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And so before we go too far into it, what would you guys say was your initial spoiler-free initial reaction to Shield Hero? Because for me, when I first heard about it, I was basically like, oh great, another isekai. And then someone on a Goblin Slayer thread commented going if you thought the first episode of Goblin Slayer was going to cause controversy, wait until the first episode of Shield Hero comes out. And so I went, well, I guess I'm going to go watch that.
I didn't think it was that controversial.
You didn't think it was that controversial?
I mean, not as much as the fucking first episode of Goblin Slayer.
That's what I said, too. I'm like, okay, that guy had no idea what he's fucking talking about.
Yeah.
It's not even close. My initial reaction was, what the fuck are you telling me there's no mage? You telling me you got 4 great heroes, not one of those motherfuckers is a mage?
I mean, technically,
and
the
I
shield...
threw my controller at the TV and I quit watching. No, I kept watching. But, yeah, you telling me no mage? Fuck, a shield and sword?
We'll get more into
spear?
it. We'll get more into it in a bit.
One of them is a mage?
We'll get more into it in a bit. Right now, I'm just thinking, like, how about you, Anthony? First reaction, like, initial reaction to it.
Initial reaction was, for me, just because, like, we previously stated, too, I followed Goblin Slayer. I recommend that show a lot. You know, same with Slime. Both of those 2 shows are one of the more prominent shows recently that I would recommend to just about anybody. So, of course, I was like, yeah, God, I'm getting kind of tired of this fantasy trope. And then the shield hero comes by and he smacks me. He's like, "You're gonna watch this." I went, "Yeah,
okay,
yeah, okay."
I'm gonna watch this. You got it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. It's good. I watched all 3 very, very easily.
That's good.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, I'm a sucker for the fantasy trope. I'm a little bit opposite of Anthony in that regard. Yeah. Whenever it comes up, I'm like, hell fucking yeah, what are we going to do in D&D today, right? And then, yeah, it was good. I like it. It is fresh. It freshens it up a little bit.
Same.
Could use a mage. But I mean, other than that.
Yeah, I liked it too. So I'm going to go intro the anime and we'll start our deep dive into it.
Cool.
So, stories of old tell of 4 otherworldly heroes wielding the sword, spear, bow, and shield, who defended the land from a wave after wave of calamity. With the fate of the world in balance, the kingdom of Melormark summoned these legendary figures from modern-day Japan. The call is answered, and the unwitting heroes are transported to the fantasy universe. Nafumi Iwatani is given the title of the Shield Hero and deemed almost worthless immediately. Nafumi must face hardships as well as being looked down upon to become one of the heroes of legend. Let's dive on into The Rise of the Shield Hero. So this was made by Studio Kinema Citrus, who have worked on such anime as Made in Abyss and Black Bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, when I saw Made in Abyss, I'm like, all right, it's probably this explains why it looks great.
Yeah.
It is based off the light novel of the same name, written by Usagi and Neko, who a lot of his stuff that I saw wasn't. I think there was one other title, and it's the spin-off of Shield Hero that stars Motoyasu, who is the spear hero.
Okay.
The anime is directed by Tako Abo, who has directed episodes of Black Lagoon. This looks like it's his first full directional credit.
Okay.
So,
pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, if the
pretty good so far.
Rest of the series continues on, I think that guy does a good job of directing the action sequences for show.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so clearly in this anime we have our protagonist, Nafumi. And what are your guys' thoughts on... oh, wait, I'm going to... Spoiler tag, obviously.
Yeah.
So, what are your guys' thoughts on Nafumi so far?
Kind of a pushover.
Kind of a pushover?
I would be punching people in the face. I would be like, what the fuck did you just do to me? Punch him in the face. Like, it's later in the series, but it's not a spoiler. When they fucking are in the little room with the hourglass, and he's like, I'm so cool. I would have decked that motherfucker in the face. How are they going to hit me? I'm the fucking shield guardian.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Also, what the fuck? Does these guys never play video games in their lives? He's the tank. He's the most useful one. They're like, nobody plays that. That's worthless. No, it's by far the most useful. You can't do anything about a tank.
It makes me so mad that they were like, oh yeah, no pro plays the tank. I feel like the tank is one of the most skilled players in your fucking team.
Yep. especially with like seeing his abilities grow throughout the course of just the first 3 episodes. Okay, I'm fucking hooked. I'd like to see how he uses all 3, all of these different abilities that he gains. Like it's gonna be so badass.
Yeah,
I like his. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just agreeing.
Yeah, no. I along with his own determination to basically just do everything without them. I like it. I like where the show is going. I think that his lack of confrontation is going to be his strongest. Is going to be his strength. Mm-hmm. So that I like that about him.
And then you got fucking bow and arrow, sword, and spear. None of those guys are a healer.
I know.
They're all DPS.
It's 3
They're
DPS.
the most worthless characters.
Yep.
They're a dime a fucking dozen, the DPS. Are you kidding me? Get out of here. Get out of here with that shit.
The one thing I liked with a lot with Nafumi's character at first is that, like, basically as soon as he's made this vow to, like, succeed without the other heroes, we'll get into that reason why when we go from episode to episode, but when he makes that decision, he starts doing everything necessary, like even shady ass shit, because he's like, I fucking refuse to, like, get those assholes help. And so
it's badass.
Yeah,
it's badass.
Starts threatening people with fucking monsters that are
that was so cool.
I'm like, all right. Like, because I will tell you right now, when I first started watching and he was like this optimistic guy, I'm like, this is so boring. Like, I hate this already. And then, like, there's that turn, and then I went, all right, this is anime of the season for me.
I'd like to see where it goes.
Oh, definitely.
I'm hooked.
You're hooked. So then we can't talk about our main hero, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to throw the 3 of these guys in together as for one discussion.
Cool.
We have the other 3 heroes that we've mentioned before. We have Ren, the sword hero, and we have Motoyasu, the spear hero, and we have Itsuki, the bow hero. And right off the bat, these guys are kind of assholes, right? Like, they get summoned and they're dicks, like, right away.
Mostly the spear guy.
The
other 2 are kind of just like, we don't care about you, you suck. And then the spear guy's like, get the hell out of my face. Do you see my spear?
Fun fact about the sword hero, he is voiced by the same voice actor as Kirito.
Oh. Kirito's a sword hero.
And he wears black. And so
he wears black.
He wears black.
Typecast just a little bit.
I'm like, that guy is stuck in a role.
Yep.
I'm like, they all seem like pretty generic, like, anime characters, especially compared to, like, Nafumi. Mm-hmm. But if anything from these first 3 episodes, if I've learned anything from these first 3 episodes, I think that as the story progresses and these guys probably become more prominent in it, they're going to start being deconstructed as well.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think we'll probably get some episodes developed, devoted to their specific character development. So, and I think one of the biggest things to note too is that Nafumi is kind of the amateur out of all 3 of these people, where they are introduced as a kind of a collective, and they're all 3 hit the ground running with like, okay, well, I'm going to get paid for doing this, and blah, 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 blah. Like, there better be compensation for saving your guys' lives, or blah, 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 whatever. And Nafumi's just like, man, look outside. It's great.
Oh, yeah, because he's
why is my arm so heavy?
Because he's...
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
this is a heavy-ass shield I got to carry around all the time.
That he can't take off, which sucks.
That I can't take off.
Yeah.
Another thing to note is that the other 3 all have experience playing, like, video games that are very similar to this world, whereas Nafumi goes, I have no idea what anyone's talking about.
Like, I was reading a book. I got page mastered into this world, all right?
Page Age Master.
That was a deep cut. I like that. I like that.
Reference.
That was a deep cut. Good job, Pete.
It's a deep cut for Nafumi, but not for the normies around.
Yeah, so it was like, it was definitely like interesting to see that everyone else seems to know what's going on, and he's like, oh. And then we have, so far in the series, our other lead character is Ruff Talia.
Yeah.
And she is what in this universe is called a Demi Human, which is pretty much every fantasy universe. And that's somebody who's half animal, half human, and she is half raccoon dog.
Bear? I thought she was a bear.
No, she's a raccoon.
I honestly thought she was a fox, and I was like, fucking holo clone. Here we go.
Holo's a wolf.
Yeah, holo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Exactly.
All
she's
these
a clone.
Different animals. No, she's a raccoon dog, I guess. I thought she was just a red panda.
That's normal.
But apparently she's a raccoon.
Raccoon
And,
dog.
which is a different animal girl than I'm used to, and she is adorable as shit. The first episode that she's in, she makes her debut in episode 2, and at first I just loved the whole relationship from like. Again, this anime is doing a great job on making me expect one thing and then showing me another thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they character development happens really quick. I don't know if it'll keep moving that quick, but I was like, whoa, okay, this is getting going. Nice. I was expecting some some slowness at the beginning, but
Yeah. Well, yeah,
it gets up and running.
Yeah, especially the way that first episode works. I thought that because the first episode's kind of a slow burn, and so I thought like the entire anime would kind of like go with that, but it seems like as soon as it starts going, it's going.
Yeah, I like that.
I agree with that.
I'd rather have
like
more
that
time seeing them kick ass than be pussies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on that same kind of vein of thought, there's no wasted exposition either. You know, where they're literally showing us scenes in episode 2 where Ruff Talia is just they're flashing back to her backstory, and they're also tying that into the current scenes of what her character is going through. I loved that. I thought that was killer. Mm-hmm. But they did a great job. Storytelling is by far the strongest in this particular anime.
Oh yeah, and so again, building off that, like not using unneeded exposition, is that we haven't, so far at least, had to sit there and listen to someone explain the magic system. Mm-hmm. And that is something I am absolutely thankful for. I think that's where you start losing me in like a lot of isekais and a lot of stuff is where you start explaining how things work.
Mm-hmm. It's a video game. I get it.
Yeah,
I play video games.
Yeah, it's like okay, it's a video game and this stuff happens. Instead, like in episode 3, he's like, I have so many configurations with my shield, and it just shows like that web of different shields he can use.
I get it.
I'm like, cool, thank you. I'm like, he can do a lot of different shit. And I'm like, that's good. I'm okay with that. And then he just starts using powers that we didn't see before, and I'm like, okay, thank you again, because it's.
I like how it introduces them before he uses them too.
Yeah,
that way they don't feel like Deus Ex Machina very much,
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, I could do this. Sweet, I'll start using this, and then later on he uses it to great effect, and you're like, okay, cool. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Rather than like, what? Since when can you do that shit? Yeah. That would be kind of cheap.
It is. It would be the that stupid trope of I found this ability and now I'm using it for the first time without anyone ever seeing it, and it's like, why? Shouldn't you practice it? Shouldn't you practice that ability?
You've seen my regular technique, but I've been working on this in secret.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, when? When did you have the time? Yeah, so again, from a storytelling standpoint, these first 3 episodes have been great.
Yeah.
Got its hooks in me deep.
Yep, no wasted details either. I love that. Like, in the downtime scenes between Nafumi and Ruff Talia, he can be seen, grinding down herbs, just like what he was doing to make money. Like, it's cool. It's smart. I love that shit. Like, it doesn't... There's no wasted details. I love that.
I love that he's a smart character too. Like he's like, because again, like, and I imagine this is going to come up when they talk to the other heroes, is that since he doesn't have all that, like all the like the babying of the other heroes, like where they're getting an allowance, they're getting like people doing stuff for them. He's learning how the world works. Like he's going over there and he's talking to people. He's developing connections, and he's basically like he has to earn his own income. So he's learning learning the ways of the world, and I think that's really great. And again, it's not shoving it down my throat. Where he's going, like, where he starts making, because he starts making medicines, and he goes, oh, my shield tells me how to make medicines. It's not, it's like, hey, shopkeep, what do I need to make medicines? And it's like, well, you need this herb, and combined together with water would equal out to this, but if you had this certain herb, and it's like, I don't care that he's making medicine.
Did you know that here in Blurpersturp, there's herbs all over the world, and it cuts to, like, B-roll of herbs. Yeah. You could go out and collect those herbs and maybe make some money. I think a smart kid like you might make good with that. No, he just finds an herb on the ground. I'm like, I get that. Yeah, you collect herbs in video games.
He saw it in a window and was like, that's the herb from the window?
And me, I'm like, yeah, I get that. Yeah, you do that in video games. Yeah. And I've played them before. Yeah, I feel.
It's like, all right, yeah, cool. That another thing I liked about that too is like it didn't flash back to the window. He looked at the herb and he went, "That's the herb from the window." It didn't show the scene that we just saw.
Yeah. Well, that was cool. That's really cool. Another thing that I was going to say about this though is, I guess this might be a little deep divey, but well, actually, should we go into an episode like breakdown, or go over these characters like their abilities so far?
I think let's go into the episode breakdown, and then when we get to the third episode, because is that where you're going to start talking about the abilities?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then when we get into the third episode, we can talk more about his abilities and other stuff.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw up the spoiler tag now. If you, for some reason, wanted to skip the spoiler section of this podcast, jump to the time up above. Okay, so episode 1 starts off, and we get introduced to Nafumi, and he is he's basically a otaku who doesn't have to work because he saved his brother from falling in with the wrong crowd, so his parents were extremely grateful and like decided to just pay for him to go to school, like gave him free room and board and food. And I like how, like, because it's not really like hung up on talking about how good of a person he is. It's kind of just spat out there for a second. It's like, hey, this is a good guy, he does stuff, and then he like goes out, and then he almost immediately gets summoned to the other world. And I'm like, oh,
all right, this is gonna be, it's starting.
I'm like, oh, all right. And he didn't get hit by a truck. He didn't. He didn't die. He just he just got sucked into the void.
He opened up a book and was like, ah.
And so then we get introduced to the main cast. We get introduced to this world, and like I said in the synopsis of it, basically these heroes are summoned to stop these waves of calamity from destroying the world. And then they're told that they can't form a party because they originally were going to all four work together. But if they are in too close of proximity to each other, their weapons don't work. I'm guessing when they are outside the wave of calamity, because episode 3 kind of shows them all using their weapons together, right?
Right.
Yeah, I was imagining it like they would get less experience or something like that, like as a hero they can recruit party members that will help them get experience, and the party members get the same amount, but when multiple heroes are together it doesn't work the same way or something like that.
Okay,
because he was like, you'll be weaker, and you're like, okay, that's all right. And I mean, a lot of times, like, that's all I need to know.
Yeah, just I know that they can't.
There's so many shows where they'd be like, nope, you can't go together, and I'd be like, why though? And literally all I would need is, you'll be weaker. Okay, all right, that's fine with me.
That's all you need. Like, and I feel like a lot of like an anime trope with that one would be like, you can't go together. Why? You just can't. like
That'll
music.
work.
It's like, oh, so we'll find out episode 12 why they can't work together. Huh?
3 episodes later, they're together, and it's like getting less experience. And they're like, "Oh, when we're together, we get less experience. Why didn't you just
Wish that person would have told us.
waste the time? This is a waste of time."
Yeah, so they find that out they're told that right away, and they're told that the next day, that they are going to get party members to help them form individual parties to go out and level up to fight the next wave of Calamity. And so that night they kind of have this discussion, and as we said earlier, that they find out that the other 3 heroes all have experience playing games similar to this world. And I want to bring up something at this point, because I saw in today's Reddit thread that in episode 1, Nafumi gets up and it kind of shows his screen, and he's playing a top-down civilization game. So and someone said that this is why Nafumi acts differently than the other heroes, is because the other heroes are seeing themselves as protagonists in a world that will only follow them, while Nafumi sees this world as a world where things exist outside of what he does.
He's going for the cultural victory.
Exactly. And so,
I mean, takes a smart guy to play safe.
So I was like, that's a really cool way to kind of see the differences right away, because even then, like Anthony said earlier, they're already making demands that benefit them instead of even asking about the world.
Like, hey, what's our mission?
Or even are asking how does the world work? They just think that the world's going to hand them everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so they talk about this, and they talk about how Nafumi is not really versed in this type of world, and that actually gets out into the public, because the next day they get all these highly trained warriors are there, and they all go to join parties, and no one joins Nafumi's party.
Nobody wants to be the shield guy's friend. What a big loser.
I'm like, nobody wants to go with the guy who's clearly going to tank all the damage.
Yeah.
I'd be in that guy's
Who's clearly
party in
the most
second.
useful.
I'd be in that guy's party in a second. I'm like, you know what that means? That guy's not going to use me as a shield, because he has a shield.
Because he's holding one.
Because he's the guy holding one. I'd stay away from Bow Guy, because you know why? Because I'm going to have to tank for Bow Guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's squished. He's squished.
One thing that is kind of pointed out is that the sword hero has the most people, and the spear hero has a party filled of all females, because he's a good-looking guy who's a douche.
It's an understatement.
Eventually, though, this girl, Mine, who's part of this spear hero's party, says that she'll join Nafumi if that's okay, and Motoyasu says, yeah, that's fine, I guess. And so it's Nafumi and Mine, and with that just being his party of only 2 people, they all get allowances. Nafumi gets 200 more silver?
Everybody gets 600, and he gets either 800 or 900, I can't remember.
Yeah, he gets more silver than them because he has less party members.
That's good.
Yeah,
right?
I'm like, that makes
a nice upgrade.
I'm like, that's nice that they're compensating the lack of his party. And they're basically told that he has to build his party from the ground up. And they go out and they start fighting these balloons, these orange balloon monsters that are kind of like training monsters, I guess, like those early level monsters that you fight in MMOs and stuff to get quick levels.
Yeah.
And Nafumi's having a hard time because he doesn't have a weapon, because his shield won't let him equip a weapon.
You can only use the one you're given.
Yep. They're only allowed
to
use...
sword guy can't go grab a shield. And shield guy can't go grab a sword.
Right.
And spear guy can't go grab a sword.
And I like that is answered pretty quickly, because he grabs a sword and he goes, I can't do that. And then a little pop-up happens and he goes, yeah, you can't do that. You're only allowed the shield. And it's not it's not this long drawn-out scene of him grabbing different swords and just going, oh no. It's like 2 swords, and then it pops up, and he goes, "Yeah, you can't."
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they continue on. They. And meanwhile, Mine's very cheery. Mine's very happy to just be there. She's like, "Yeah, you know what, like Sir Hero, like you can do it. You'll get stronger. I'll get stronger. We'll be the best party." And at this point in time, I'm thinking something horrible is going to happen to her.
That's what I thought too. Yeah,
because of the Goblin Slayer comment, I kept thinking, I'm like, she's going to be just horribly murdered, and he is going to have a bad time.
Yep.
I thought she was evil.
You thought she was evil?
She gave me an evil vibe. So
Really?
did the guy next to the king. The king's left.
You mean the guy with the eyebrows?
He's like, welcome to our world.
He did look like...
I don't trust that guy at all.
He had a worm tongue type
Yeah.
feel to him.
Yeah.
You look at that guy and you're like, well, King, that guy is going to 100% betray you. Just throwing it out there.
Have you seen his eyebrows? Look at them. They've only got one position and they're fucking furrowed.
And they're always glaring.
Yeah.
So, and so they eventually get Mine more armor. Like, he upgrades her armor like tenfold. He uses pretty much out of his budget. He uses up like all but like 100 silver pieces, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so she's fully upgraded. They go out to the inn, like their inn, to eat. And this is where then I realized nothing bad was going to happen to Mine, but Mine was going to do something bad. Is when she keeps trying to get him to drink the wine.
Yeah.
Why don't you give it to me?
He's like, man,
He's
I
like,
hate drinking by myself. And he goes, I don't like wine.
It's like, I actually don't like to drink. So, good night.
Why don't you take these drugs, these sleep drugs? And he's like, I have a feeling that you're trying to take advantage of me right now.
Poison me to death.
I thought it
There's no sleep drugs. That was a joke.
I thought it might have been like, clearly she was trying to just get him drunk. But at first, I thought she was trying to poison him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? There's no way that poison's going to kill our hero, our protagonist. So I thought if he did drink it, he'd just get like a pop-up, like his shield protecting him, or poison resistance. And he'd be like, wait a minute.
You bitch.
You tried to kill me. But no, he just very politely declines her.
Yeah.
And he goes to his room, and as he's about to like fall asleep, he kind of hears Motoyasu. And then he wakes up and he finds that in the night he's been robbed. Like, his armor that he bought is gone, his clothes from the other world are gone, and all he has is his pajamas and the shield that refuses to leave his body.
Right.
And he goes outside and there's all these guards show up, and he's like, good guards. And this is where, again, like, I'm at this point I'm like, what a fucking idiot. Like,
right.
Like, all these guards show up, and they're clearly not there to help you.
Right.
Hey, you! Get the fuck over here! He's like, oh, thank God you're here, guys. This is the craziest thing that happened.
It's like, I got robbed and you guys showed up. The police force here is fantastic. And so he gets dragged to the castle, and while they're there, when he's there, he sees Mine with Motoyasu, and he goes, Mine, oh, thank God you're okay. Like, we got robbed. And at this point, when do you realize
that you're being duped?
You're being duped, yeah, exactly. And he finds out that he's done the worst thing that anyone in this country can do, and that's he's been told, that he's done the worst thing that anyone in this country can do, and that is attempt sexual assault, yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And he's like, what? And then Mine is accusing him of attacking her in the night and forcing himself on her. But she had escaped and run to Motoyasu, and then they went to the castle. And now, basically, he's told, like, if he wasn't a hero, he'd be murdered. Like, he'd be executed. But since he's a hero, he's just going to be shamed forever. And this is something I wanted to bring up, because this is where this controversy, it's not big, it's not Goblin Slayer level of controversy, to any extent, but there are some people complaining about this series strictly for this plot point. And I wanted to know with you guys is this like extremely like controversial to you? Like, do you think that this plot point is something that is I guess, how do I say this, will hurt like this real life topic? Like, do you think that this is a bad thing to do?
No.
Like, I suppose like what you're saying is that that basically it's like downplaying real life events.
Yes. Do you think that it downplays real life like sexual assault victims, or
it would be if he actually did it,
yeah,
but he didn't.
But right. Exactly.
If he did do it and then he was fine, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But he didn't do it.
He didn't do anything, and like,
I mean, I guess in their mind he did do it and he's still fine. But also, he's a person from another dimension that they summoned to come save their world. So I think it's kind of a different circumstance than normal sexual assault. Uh-huh. I don't think I've heard of any cases where someone who was summoned from another world to defend us sexually assaulted somebody. So usually it's just people from this world that do it.
It should be also made a point, too, that this, by what we're kind of talking about, either is in no way us in our circle downplaying sexual assault victims at all, or anyone that's ever been accused of sexual assault or anything like that. I'd say that this, particularly in this day and age, especially as a young man in America, for people that are wrongly accused, this is a terrifying thing that I would say that I'm sure has popped into at least someone's mind, like when they go out on a date or they're meeting a new person, the worst thing that you could do is accuse that person of wrongly or mistreating you. And then conversely, if that stuff actually does happen to you, the proper routes are there and are necessity for victims to kind of follow and be protected like this. I think that the biggest thing that causes controversy is this, I don't know, kind of lack of controversy that it actually creates. This is a real life thing. It's a real life event that other animes haven't touched on, in my knowledge at least. And therefore, it I don't know, it's kind of like that shock value. I think that's why it's caused this huge type of, controversy at first. At face value, honestly, I don't think it should change a thing. I don't think that it really causes that much, to really be worried about. Honestly, if you really want to go support something, then go support all of the people that have now submitted for the Me Too movement. Like, those are real accusations of people who have actually had something happen to them.
Yeah, it's like, I just hate. Anthony and I were talking about this a little early on, and he read an article.
Got all heated, huh, Jake? Shit.
No, I'm all heated.
No, you got Anthony all heated.
I got Anthony all heated. and Anthony read an article where someone is automatically writing off the anime because they believe that false sexual assault claims do not exist. And
well, so they do.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that, like, I feel like, yes, like, there are yes, they do exist, and I believe just writing it off is kind of just weird to say. Like, I'm so perplexed by that idea that I don't know. Like, it's
an anime.
It's an
about
anime.
A guy who gets transported to another universe,
right,
to help them protect their lands, and then he's in a video game. It's hardly reality. Okay,
yeah, it's
like, I get it how. And when people sexually assault people in that land, they execute them. So, like, how is their reasoning behind that bad? They're like, if you were a normal guy, we would have executed you. Okay, yeah, that seems like, par for the course, I guess. The only reason they don't is because was summoned there to protect them from a mystical, magical force.
Right.
And if you're pissed off that they didn't give proper recourse to him, then you need to examine the fact that he was summoned there to protect them from a mystical magical force because it's a cartoon anime show.
Also, he did nothing.
So
Yeah, he also did nothing.
also he did nothing. But it's like, if you're mad at it because there was, that plot point, which totally is a real thing, or you're mad at it because the government or whatever didn't do enough to punish him, it's not grounded in reality in any way, shape, or form.
It's not.
Yeah. They summoned him from another universe to protect them from a mystical magical force. So that's why they didn't execute him.
It's
right.
It's definitely
like how.
Yeah, it's like DJ said. There's no part of it that's grounded in reality at all, and that's as soon as he said that, it's 100% true, because the part of it that is grounded in reality of the show, they immediately step away from, because he gets summoned to a completely different fantasy world.
Yeah.
I'd say that the only argument that I think, I won't call it valid, I think that the only argument that I, can kind of see a little, I can kind of agree with, is that in the terms of character development now, you're talking about a character who has gone through a traumatizing event, right? Went through this plot point. Did it specifically have to be being accused of rape? I like in the writer's thought process. Like, personally, I don't think that particular thematic element is a detriment to the anime itself. Honestly, I think it's actually pretty good. It honestly creates this little bit of controversy that it's 2019, folks. Like, if you're not willing to talk about this type of stuff, then what the fuck?
Just go watch fucking Diabolic Lovers, why don't you?
God, Diabolic Lovers should actually have more hate than this show.
It actually should.
Because
it actually should.
It does kind of glorify what we're talking
you don't
about.
Want it?
Exactly what we're talking about.
Bitch.
So I think in that sense, that would be the only reason why. Is why the writer chose to specifically put that element into the story. Does it downplay the rest of Nofumi's character? Absolutely not.
It doesn't really even affect his character. It's not like he goes around hating women after that either. He kind of just hates everyone at that point, because no one would even listen to his 2 cents.
Even if he told the truth. Do I see it getting a little old, if it continues to come up? Yeah, I do.
He's already found people that trust him, regardless of what everyone says about him.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not gonna, the only people that don't are the douchebags that believe the lie.
Yeah, personally, I think that it's all of this hype and hate that this show has gotten is all truly just from the first episode, and these social justice warriors, or SJWs, as I was pointed.
Going on a fucking tirade.
As I was
ready to fight.
Previously kind of pointed out to, it's just like they watched the first episode of this show and then decided to get on this fucking hate wagon. And the same exact thing happened with Goblin Slayer. Look how that show turned out.
I think honestly, it's a lot of high horse riding. Instead of it's like literally almost like judging a book by its cover, away.
Great.
So let's go ahead. Let's get off. Let's
Anthony's too hot. He's on a tirade. We gotta change gears.
Let's calm Anthony down by continuing the story.
Gladly.
So he then kind of has to. They take away his allowance. They take away his allowance. They let him out into the wild, but they have spread knowledge of his quote crime unquote, and so now no one wants to deal with him. No one's respecting him. Except the blacksmith who him and mine went to kind of threatens to beat his face in. And then the blacksmith deduces that he didn't do anything, and so he kind of feels bad for him. So he gives him minimal armor, which is a cloak. And he doesn't give him, he charges him 5 copper for it. And he says basically he kind of is his first connection that Nafumi builds, is like his kind of first ally. So Nafumi goes around trying to pop those balloons, and he spends all day doing that, and he eventually gets to level 2. And
Nice.
Yeah, he's basically realized that he really can't do anything on his own, and he's stuck in this horrible, like, cycle of not being... He needs XP to get stronger. Wait, he needs to get stronger so he can kill monsters, but he needs XP to get stronger, and he needs to kill monsters to get XP. So he can't do anything. He then starts doing, like, shady stuff, which I love, because he goes full anti-hero at this point.
Yeah.
Like, as we've said before, he's taken those balloon monsters, because he doesn't feel pain because of his shield. So he's taken these balloon monsters...
Because there's this guy that's like, oh, for you, I'm only going to accept this little tiny amount of money for that. And he's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
what the fuck you just say to me, bruh? So they're being shady to him.
Yep, they're being shady to him, so he answers back, and I love that. Because it's not like... He's not this glorified hero. He's like, alright, you're stooping low, I'm going to stoop lower.
Yep.
Because he goes to sell some of the balloon like skins, and he hears that basically this guy's selling for 2 balloon skins, he'll give you 1 copper. And so he goes over with like 20 balloon skins, and the guy goes, I'll give you 1 copper for all of them. And he goes, oh, well, I just heard you give that guy a deal. And he goes, yeah, I'm not going to do that to you. And he goes, oh, really?
Like, oh, really? Well, then I'll fucking kill you.
And he lifts up his cloak, and on him are like 3 of the balloon monsters biting him, and he shoves the guy's like head into the cloak, and he basically threatens the guy with death. And the guy gives him a deal, and he goes, well, here's to a partnership. And I'm like, fucking A, already so much better. He doesn't even wallow in self-pity, like, at all. He goes from, like, he's like, I hate everyone, and I'm going to do things my way now. And I'm like, awesome, I'm on board.
Going back to that specifically, like, when he's leaving the chamber room of the king and everything after he's being accused, he saved some silver coins from the knight because he was just worried. He had this weird suspicion. And
stored
them
in his shield.
Oh, yeah, he did
stored them in his shield. He turned around and he's just like, this is what you want, right? Here you go, bitch.
Oh, yeah,
that's what he said.
Because he thinks Motoyasu had planned it with mine.
Yep.
And so so he's already on this tirade of, like, doing stuff by himself. He even sees herbs, like we said, and he starts selling. This is a aspect of the show I haven't mentioned. He feeds stuff to his shield, and his shield gets different abilities. And so he feeds he feeds an herb to his shield, and he gets the leaf shield that lets him upgrade herbs. So he's selling, like, these high-priced herbs now to get money, and he starts developing this relationship with this herbalist. And I like that he has to do it at nighttime, because he can't be, like, because probably that herbalist wouldn't take his business during the day.
Right.
And eventually, at the end of this first episode, I know all this stuff is taking place in the first episode. It's a double-length first episode. At the end of this episode, he's approached by this slave trader, who's like, "I've heard that you've done shady shit." So
Skeezy-looking motherfucker. Immediately, you're like, "Don't talk to that fucking guy."
Listen here, Penguin. Listen here, Penguin from Batman.
You wanna come follow me? And I'm like, don't follow that dude. Don't follow him. Come on over here.
Yeah, so he's told to go. He basically follows the slave trader, and the slave trader says, like, well, you've done sleazy stuff. You're a pretty scummy guy. I think that you and I will make some pretty good business. How about you buy a slave to fight stuff for you?
He doesn't tell him it's a slave at first either. He's like, I know what you need. Follow me. That's not a trustworthy thing to do.
Yeah. It's like, this looks like a guy
Do
I
not
can trust.
follow that guy. You're making poor decisions. I'm sorry. Okay, in this alley? All right. I thought he was going to try to sell him to the circus once I saw the tent.
Like a circus.
Too, yeah.
You could be my freak in my new freak show, freak.
You're the shield freak. How's that sound? No, so he goes in there and he's offered a slave. And that's the end of the first episode. And that's a lot of stuff that happened in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
So the next episode opens up and he sees... he's basically being shown, like, all these different slaves. He learns what Demi Humans are, and he learns that there's beastmen are different from Demi Humans, right? Because Demi Humans look more like people, and beastmen look more like beasts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make them men beasts, though?
Man beasts. And so he sees the character that will eventually be Ruff Talia in a cage, and the slave owner goes, "You don't want her. She's damaged. Like, she's got mental issues, and she's like sick." And he goes, "Oh," he's like,
"She's a freak like you, freak."
He's like, "You want this one?" He's like, "This is my best slave," and it's this werewolf guy, and he's level 75, which is like 20 times Nefumi's level. And Nefumi, this is a line that gets lost, and I love it, because Nefumi goes, like, "You're showing me your high-priced guy knowing that I can't afford it?" And he goes, "I'm just trying to make sure you have a keen eye, because you and I are going to be in business a lot." And so that just to me makes it seem like Nefumi's party is going to be completely made of slaves. And I'm
I'm like, okay, hold up real quick, dude. I'm going to buy her. I'm going to go grind some gold. I'm going to come back. I'm going to buy that werewolf guy.
I'm going to buy the werewolf.
And then the next story mission I go to, I'm going to stomp it, and I'm going to be pissed because it was so easy. And then I'm going to remember that I grinded gold for 17 hours to get an overpowered werewolf guy. And then the next story mission, probably same deal. And I'm like, what the fuck is this game? Right? And then I remember that I ruined it for myself.
Because I bought an overpowered werewolf.
Yeah.
So
how DJ would play the game.
How DJ would.
It's like when you get Fox in Fallout 3. You're like, did he just vaporize that guy with his machine gun? Oh fuck! All right, well I just go pick up his loot, I guess. Like,
yeah, all right, okay. I'll let him do all the job. So he goes back to Ruff Talia, and he goes, "I'm going to buy this one." And she gets marked with a slave brand, which is a curse that if she doesn't listen to him, she'll be caused pain. And he kind of learns in this brief exchange that her last owner kind of had like a torture fetish where he constantly tortured her, so he constantly used that mark against her. And this is where I went in this episode. I went, okay, either he's going to treat this girl really poorly at first and then slowly build into like a nice guy, or he's going to be a nice guy right off the bat. And what I like is he's like a mixture of the two, because he's not too nice at first to her, but he's also not a complete dick.
Yeah.
Like, he's just kind of like, he kind of explains to her too, like, this is a partnership. I will protect you, and I will feed you, and I will watch out for you, but for me, you have to kill monsters.
Yeah. And he's like, I cannot kill monsters. You kill the monsters, okay? She's like, oh, I don't even know who you are. Listen. You kill the monsters. Then he's like, later he's feeding her, and she's like, wait a second, this ain't that fucking bad. You mean all I gotta do is kill some monsters? And this guy is gonna feed me?
Yeah. I like...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, I think it's in this particular episode, there's a line, too, that really stuck out to me, too, is, I think it's, like, when she starts, like, crying to try and, like, kill, I can't remember what it is.
Is it the rabbit?
I think so, and at the end of it, he goes, it's like something that I just realized, this is not a game, this is reality.
Oh, it's because it's the first thing they kill that has blood. And so she stabs the rabbit, and all this blood gushes over them, and he's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like.
Oh, hold up. This is crazy.
Yeah, I like that when he takes her to the blacksmith, and he equips her with all the armor and the short sword, or it's a dagger, I guess, at this point, and he makes her stab the balloon. The blacksmith goes, "You are not gonna die a fast death." He goes, thanks for the compliment. And he walks away.
You're a real piece of shit, dude.
He's like, you're a dick. And again, that's where, like, because he's not an asshole to Ruff Talia, but you gotta realize he did just make a child soldier.
Yep. Essentially.
Child soldier slave.
Child soldier slave.
Yep.
And we find out that Ruff Talia's sickness was actually just a cold, because he creates medicine to heal her. Again, not explained why or how he learned how to make medicine. It's just a scene of him messing with herbs and his shield being the leaf shield. And he goes, drink this, it's medicine. And I go, thank you. That's all I needed to know what he was doing.
Drink this, it's medicine. It is, yep. Mm-hmm.
She's like, ew, it's gross. Yeah, well, it's strong medicine.
He goes, yeah, strong medicine, it doesn't taste good.
Strong medicine doesn't taste good. And I'm surprised I made it this far into having Ruff Talia in the story without saying she's so fucking cute.
Yeah.
It hurt to have her on screen just doing cute things. Like her drinking the medicine, just going,
yeah.
Ah! I'm like, oh my god.
Cute characters never,
Never do it for you?
No.
I mean,
I get it. I'm watching, I'm like, okay, I understand, I get it.
DJ would fall for the mind trap every single time.
Dude. Are you kidding me? I ain't trusting nobody. Are you kidding? Have you met me? She would sneak into my room and I'd grab her wrist. She'd be like, oh, fuck. I fucked the wrong dude.
You're like, I never sleep, bitch.
My bed would be up against the door. And she'd be like, what the fuck is he here? So, what? I'd be like, I knew it. I knew you were trying to steal from me.
I would have just left her at the end. After her pushing the alcohol so much, I would have been like, I gotta find somebody I trust.
Yeah.
So, continuing on with this episode, they eventually go to... Ruff Talia... We get a brief flashback of Ruff Talia's life about how, apparently, in the legend, the shield hero is supposed to be very kind to Demi Humans. She's told this by her parents, who we then see in, a few minutes get horribly murdered by, a Cerberus dog.
Murdered, yeah.
And I didn't like that part that much.
You didn't like that part? You didn't like
that the prophecy is that in depth? Do they just know everything he's going to do?
Well,
they prophesized that he was going to be accused of sexual assault?
The way that they worded that was that it was almost like they had experienced a shield hero before, and he was kind to Demi Humans then.
Yeah,
it was just in a time loop then.
Yeah.
Classic time loop.
And it's curious to see how that works. To see if maybe other cultures have different perspectives on them. If the Demi Humans go, shield hero is great. And they're like, oh, bow hero is a masochist who tortured Demi Humans. What? Why?
The kid with the blonde hair.
Because everybody else is the shield hero is a loser.
Yeah. And they're just oh, shield hero's a dork. No one mains tank. That's stupid.
It's you don't care. All of the nobles don't like me, but all of the rest of the fucking commoners and the badass demi-humans like me? Alright, go fuck yourselves.
I know. As soon as I heard that shit, it's like, oh, demi-humans like you. I'm like, alright. Pardon me, I'm going to find the cat girl village, and I'm going to be saying I'm the shield hero.
Excuse me, shield hero, could you point me to the cat girl village?
Cat girl village, please, shield hero.
We don't have one of those. Well, I'm out.
I'm out, alright. Okay, well, have fun with Calamity or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to open a medicine shop.
Speaking of cat girls.
Yeah?
We get to see full-grown raccoon girl.
Oh, yes, because at the end of the second episode, they fight a dog creature in a cave, and she gets leveled up. And then the next episode, she's not even full... She's teenage girl at this point.
Yeah, something like that.
It's kind of hinted, though, because we haven't talked about this yet, but the opening kind of shows adult her.
Mm-hmm.
Shows adult her. Mm-hmm. And also, the opening music is fucking fire.
Yeah, it's good.
That's on my workout playlist now.
It's good.
Fire.
The next episode we get teen her, and she's level 18, guys. So now she's legal. I guess. Yeah, sure. I guess
Jake,
that's how. I'm kidding.
You made that joke. DJ didn't make that joke.
I was trying to set DJ up, but he kind of. Yeah.
That doesn't. Jake, you know that it'd been fine if she was level fucking 15.
Because it's Japan.
You know where this show was made, yeah.
Japan. No, it's something that's weird is that she's progressively aging with her levels, and it doesn't seem like Nafumi notices because
I thought she was aging by age,
by age,
not by levels.
You thought months? You thought years have passed?
Yeah,
dude, people grow up fast. How do you know how fast Demi Humans grow up? You fuckers, all right? Could be. She reached Demi Human puberty and had a growth spurt. All right.
True. I guess I don't know the ins and outs of Demi Human physiology.
Yeah, exactly.
But it seems like everyone around them is noticing, except for Nafumi doesn't notice at all. He even tells because the blacksmith goes, "Wow, you've grown up to be quite the young lady," and he goes, "This whole country's filled with lolicons, and it's freaking me out." And they're like, he's like, "What do you mean?" And it's like everyone is like, here, like, you like that sandwich, young lady? Here, have this hot dog. And it's because she's like an adult, and Nafumi, like, even when she orders food, Nafumi's like, "I'll have the cheap plate, and she'll have the kids' meal." She goes, "I'm not a kid anymore." And he goes, "Don't force yourself to grow up, okay? You don't." So this is what I also have to praise the show for, is 3 episodes in, and we get our first wave of Calamity right away.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the end of the first season.
Right?
And I'm like...
And you could totally see that fucking happen.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so common.
It's so common to be like, oh, it's like this wave of Calamity, and you're like, that's the season finale. Can't wait for that. But no, it happens right away. And DJ brought this up earlier. There's a scene because he has to find out when the next wave of Calamity is. So he goes to this thing called the Dragon Hourglass, and it counts down when the wave of Calamity will happen, and it will eventually teleport the heroes to when it starts. And so he goes to go look, the heroes in their party, to when it starts. And so he goes to look, and he sees it, and he goes, "Oh, okay." But it just so happens that the other 3 heroes all go to the hourglass at the same time. Even though they would already know about it, right? Because he didn't know about it because no one in his party knows about the Dragon Hourglass.
Right.
And he doesn't have the support of the government anymore. So I feel like the other heroes, unless they're checking it like every day, should already know this. Like, they shouldn't have... Like, that's my only minor complaint with the story, is that they're kind of just there. But, fuck, does it introduce this scene filled with tension. Because, like DJ said earlier, he just punched the spear hero in his face. I was, like, shaking with rage during this scene. Because, like, they're just talking down to him, and we've just watched a whole episode of him being, like, this very kind person and, like, doing badass things. And now I'm just like... I hate him. I hate him so much. I want the shield here. I want the spear hero to die, and I don't know I've ever wanted that for like a supporting good guy character.
Man, and I would hate for never mind. I don't want to say that. It's going to make me a bad person.
Oh no.
I agree with you, Jake. I agree with you.
We're gonna move on. Yeah, but like. Because he's, like, actively antagonizing him, and then the other 2 are like, "Don't hold us back, Nafumi." And I'm like, you guys are dicks. He's not saying
You're a loser.
Anything. He's not
Hear
saying
that,
anything.
loser? That's the other guy.
Yeah. It's like, "Hey, Nafumi, don't say anything if you're a loser."
Yeah.
Oh, you are
a loser. Fucking loser. I'm fucking Kirito. I'm a solo player.
I know. And then, like, the worst part is he's, like, making an ass out of himself in front of fucking...
Ruff Talia?
Ruff Talia. Just, ugh. That made me mad.
And he's like, "Follow me and you'll be happy." She's like, "Sorry, I'm a slave."
Sorry, I was waiting for her to say it. Because he was like, "Why are you with him?" I was waiting for her to just go, "Well, I'm a slave."
And they look at him like, "You fucking asshole. We knew it. You're horrible.
You are.
Now she can't get away from you, yeah.
So they go away, they all separate, and then the wave hits, and they get teleported there, and Nafumi sees the other 3 heroes rushing towards, like, the boss. And Ruff Talia points out that... Ruff Talia points out that there's a village that they visited last episode really close by, and he sees a flare come out. And basically the villages can't evacuate because... This is a horrible plan, by the way. Always evacuate every village when the wave's about to happen, and then leave guards in the villages to shoot the flare.
Yeah.
So, the government has basically told the villagers to stay there, and if they see the wave, shoot a flare to alert the knights, and then evacuate. And so they shoot a flare, and Ruff Talia and Nafumi see, like, oh shit, yeah, they're just going to attack that village. And they rush the village to save it. And man, is this a display of just Nafumi mastering that shield already.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Like, he has that, because we first see him use Shield Prison to capture something.
A little porcupine.
Yeah, the porcupine. And in this episode, the same episode, he uses it to protect people.
Mm-hmm. He protect.
And he protect and he protect.
Mm-hmm.
He capture, he shield, he protect.
And I was like, that's already really cool to see him use that power differently. And he also uses his, like, airstrike shield differently, because he can also form this, like, almost Green Lantern-esque projection shield. And he uses it to jump over a zombie at one point, which I thought was really cool.
That was badass.
And so Nafumi's...
It's up B.
Huh?
That's his up B.
Yeah. So he... I didn't hear what you said.
It's his up B. His up B.
Okay. So,
his up B.
His up B.
Get it?
Yeah, I get you. So he... Smash Brothers. So he basically is, aggroing all the monsters like a tank. And Ruff Talia is evacuating the village, but some of the male villagers decide to stick around and help fight, and they are just getting in his way. And then Ruff Talia shows up, and this is fucking awesome. This is such a great sequence, because it's like a single person fighting with a sword and shield. That's how in sync him and Ruff Talia are, is that he's providing defense while she's doing offense. And it's like, he'll block, and like she'll come from underneath his cape and stab something. And then, like, something will go, and then he'll block her, like, another way. It is almost, like I said, almost like a single person wielding both weapons. And
right.
I love that sequence. Like, as soon as I finished this episode, I went back and I rewatched that sequence.
Yeah. Animation is something at this point we can totally talk about, because they do a really good job. I think that it's animated extremely well. One thing that I almost wish it was a little gorier, though.
Uh-huh.
Am I the only one?
Whoa, Anthony. Shit.
Anthony has a bloodlust.
You fucking man.
Say,
He must be sated.
I just watched freaking Goblin Slayer. Not just watched.
You want him flying into walls and coughing up blood?
Heck yeah!
I'm just kidding. Another thing I want to appreciate here is, speaking of just animation, is that everything is 2D animated.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those monsters are just copy and pasted. So they could have easily just 3D animated all those monsters, but they didn't. So
right.
That is cool.
That was cool.
That was cool. And so Nafumi eventually gets help from these knights, and him and this group of knights protect the entire village, while the other three heroes kill the boss, which is like a chimera. And oh god, I hate these guys so much. Because then they talk about how Nafumi never showed up, and they're like, oh, probably would have been harder with him here, fucking loser. I'm like, it would have been so much easier. Because that thing would be attacking Nafumi the entire time.
And you could have just stabbed it.
You could have just stabbed it. The one thing to kind of note, too, there was a group of knights that kind of showed up, and when in doing so, like, they shot off this, I think it was like it was either a flare or a magic attack?
It was like a magic, I thought it was the bow hero at first. Because it kind of was like this this volley of like energy that went and wiped out a bunch of the wave.
Right, but the way that they did it too was that without any discretion for who was there. Yeah. So if there were villagers there, then they would have just slaughtered them.
No.
And then they showed up and started acting all freaking high and mighty.
And then refused to help Nafumi because he's the shield hero.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then they ran away, and then the way after that fight scene, there was a group of knights that stuck around. They were like, yay, we're going to help out the shield hero.
What I liked about that was you see like some of the subordinates of that knight group kind of look at their leader like, I think we should stay, but you're our leader, so I guess we'll follow you. But then
they're the smart ones.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't want to fucking die. Follow the guy with the fucking shield. Are you kidding me?
Follow the fucking tank. Follow the fucking tank.
Yeah.
And so, but then the commander of that regiment is like, no, we're staying with the shield hero. Like, provide support. Like, failings. And it's like, oh man, that's great. And then the wave ends, and which again is something that I thought this episode would end, and then the wave would continue. Like,
Yep.
would end with halfway through the wave. But no, this show is moving so quickly, and I love it. It's not making me.
I love the big giant guys they're fighting.
The big giant guys.
And he's just tanking them.
Yeah, he's just blocking them with his shield.
Which is, I mean, why would you not want to tank? Just throwing it out there again.
So that wraps up the first 3 episodes. Oh, they're told they're getting rewards, and so that wraps up the first 3 episodes of the Rise of the Shield Hero. So what do you guys hope for in this show? Like, because like for future episodes. For me, I'm hoping at least this season that we get one of the other heroes like taking a big hit, like not paying attention, and like one of those big guys comes up and like punches them, and then like crying because they got hurt so bad.
Yeah,
I hope one of them dies
because they didn't realize that they needed a tank.
I know it's a little brutal to say, but DJ's right. I hope that one of them dies.
One of them
He
dies.
did say they could die.
Yep, that's another thing they did say is that they're not like immortal beings here.
Yep.
They can die.
And specifically, my prediction is that the bow hero will die first, and the spear hero will die last.
No, so you're thinking
they're all gonna die.
You're thinking
it's
all 3 heroes will die?
Now.
Not in this season.
But overall,
I think overall.
Maybe Ruff
This is my
Talia will
prediction.
die.
I have never read the manga before. Never done any research. That's what I think.
I want Bow Hero to be the guy that gets hurt and cries about it. That's what I want. I want Bow Hero.
That makes sense. He's squishy.
I want Bow Hero to not be paying attention and like laughing, and then like something comes up and just bites him, and he's like,
Yep. Goblin Slayer style. They rip him apart in half.
Okay, you want him dead. There. Again, I just want maiming. I just want maiming. Anthony wants cut up.
I'm just kidding.
By goblins.
I want a couple of things that I hope for a retribution in this anime. I want retribution for my homie.
For Naomi?
Yep.
Care about him that much.
I do.
My homie.
I do.
I think they should... It would be tropey to go for like a shocking kill, but maybe there'll be a shocking kill.
Shocking kill?
But like at this point, that happens so often nowadays. They just kill people to shock you and for no storyline reason. I don't want that. Like it has to have a good storyline reason.
Yeah. Like I said, I just want someone to get hurt and them to realize that Nefumi has value. I guess that's what I want. I don't want anyone dying until they realize Nefumi has worth.
They're like, hold up, that hurt me and broke all my ribs. He just ate that attack. He just took it.
Maybe we should let Nefumi eat all the attacks.
Yeah.
While we stand in the back and shoot people. Hold up a second. This is a great idea.
And I'm also weirdly hoping that Nefumi's party grows bigger. Like I love Ruff Talia, but his interactions with her made me crave for him to have more interactions.
Right.
He's a mage, baby.
He is.
How else is he going to get around? He can't teleport. He's not a mage.
He needs a mage.
He needs a wing shield, a teleportation shield.
I think he can. I want
He's
him to
kind
have
of
a
a
healer.
utility character. Yeah, healer would be good. I thought that after saving the village, one of those people was going to join him.
Yeah,
I really did.
like one of the knights.
Yeah, just one of the villagers.
Oh,
They were like, "Dude, you saved us. Can I join your group?" I mean, that's what happens in video games.
That is.
so.
yeah,
Like it'd be like the guy with the bandana, who was
Yeah.
I'll serve you.
It's like
Thanks
I'll leave
for
my
saving,
entire life behind
bro.
to work with you. Don't you have a wife and kid? You're the shield
Yeah.
hero.
Shmee,
You need
wife
a
and
part.
kid, schmife and kid. Let's go. Let's go on an adventure. That's very anime.
That is.
What about your family? They'll take care of it. What about your job, Brock? You're a gym leader.
Yeah, here's my dad who went missing.
He'll take care of it. What about your job, Misty? You're a gym leader.
Here are my
No.
sisters who are literally giving the badge away before this episode.
Yeah.
Pokemon. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where the series goes.
It's
Me
looking
too.
pretty
It's looking
good.
promising so far.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Anything else you guys want to say in the spoiler section?
Oh, yeah. What do you think their respective levels are? Right now, Nafumi and Ruff Talia are 24 and 20, I think 22, respectively, or something like that.
He's like 2 levels behind her.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
she gets more XP for killing the stuff, and he just has the XP from the experience share.
Yeah, yeah. So in comparison to the other heroes, where do you think he's at?
Behind.
You think he's behind?
Yes.
I think he might be ahead. Because I think he's so desperate on
Diligent, yeah.
being like ready for these things that I think his downtime is non-existent.
Yeah.
So I think when he's not making medicine, he's out there with Ruff Talia killing crap. And I think those guys probably got to like a cherry level 15 and went, "This is good enough. I think I'm stacked. Like, let's hang out."
We're gold. We're gold.
The only reason why I would say that they're probably higher than him is because they killed the beast so easily, and then legit were just like, "Oh, that was easy." Like they were over leveled.
Well, that's the thing I'm wondering about. Is it took three it took 3 of them to like kill that one thing, because it doesn't look like they were being attacked by. God, I'm going to use video game technology terminology. I mean, they weren't being attacked by ads. So it was just like the 3 of them who got to focus on the one boss monster.
Right.
Meanwhile, Nafumi's fighting everything.
Right.
And so
that's true.
So I think even if let's hypothetically say they got the boss monster XP, it's split 3 ways among them and their party members.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just Nafumi and Ruff Talia who killed that giant wave of monsters, and they grew like 4 levels in that.
Right.
So I think they might be higher.
It's possible. I think they are. I don't think they would use that right away. Him being higher than them. I would think they would wait on that.
Mm-hmm.
Let him be behind for a little bit longer. That's still a story that could develop a little bit more. That he's behind.
We'll definitely have to see. I
want to see Blacksmith arc. I think he's going to learn to like enchant and stuff.
Like he just starts upgrading the blacksmith.
Yeah, like I think he's just gonna. I mean, he's learning herbalism. Why not learn fucking blacksmith too?
That's true. I'm surprised he hasn't bothered like learning some. I'm surprised we haven't because he finds that ore in the 2nd episode, and they go, "Oh, we left after we killed that monster." I'm surprised.
Baby.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone back to that cave and gotten more of that stuff and used that into integrating into like Ruff Talia's like
just
weapons.
Sold it all.
Right.
And and then the blacksmith did say, "If you could, I'll make you armor out of stuff I have on hand." So we might see him like going out and collecting some items to make some special gear.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. That's not a thing you see a lot in these types of animes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing too. As I like he's wearing he's like we see him wearing his like basic armor stuff, and then we see him buy new armor, and that's something that you like. I guess to compare it to another isekai in Sword Art Online, Kirito gets like this cloak in the 1st episode, and then like the next time we see him, he's wearing a completely different cloak, and he has a completely different sword, and it's like, where did any of that come from?
Yeah, you're like, what happened? This is all my things. They go along with my new powers. What? Yeah, I leveled off screen. I'm way powerful now.
And it's like,
why didn't you take the time to show that and then not end the season 1 halfway through? Maybe.
That's funny.
I'd
say that as far as D&D animes go, Goblin Slayer was the the D&D anime about a group of people with one guy who just likes killing goblins. Uh-huh. So then the DM is forced to put goblins in everything that they do. This one is more so where you accidentally told the DM too much about your backstory, and it's like, oh, really? Okay. Let's see how that works out then.
Just like,
how does...
fuck you. You took too long. I'm making this game stupid hard for you.
Yeah.
What? How did he tell the DM too much about his backstory?
He's like, well, I'm a nice guy. and I grew up in a really nice town. I've never had to deal with any controversy ever, and I just love my life. It was great.
I just took it as like a guy who pissed off his DM.
Yeah,
that too.
And you're gonna be the shield hero.
Well, and nobody likes you, Craig.
That works too.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end spoilers now. Welcome back, or I guess hello, if you skipped the spoiler section of the show. Anthony, say your thing.
Oh, if you're not watching it with us right now, go watch it right now. Literally right now. It takes an hour and a half to watch the whole thing. Just
Stop
go do
listening to our podcast. Listen and watch those 3 episodes.
Stop now! Get out of here!
Get out! Get! No, all right. So we're going to be continuing to release the seasonal anime episode podcast every 2 weeks, very similar to how we do the Anime Dumpster Dive regular podcast, just so that way we have more to talk about on each podcast. So join us next time for when we talk about episodes 4 and 5 of The Rise of the Shield Hero. Anthony, how about you tell them where they can find us?
You can find us on our Twitter, listed in the links below. Leave a comment down below to let us know what you think about the Shield Hero, please. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an Anime Dumpster Dive podcast and seasonal anime review as well.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.
I want to be the spear guy, but my spear's actually a shield. What if they all combine like Voltron?
Like what? Stand on each other's shoulders?
No, the weapons, like in Power Rangers.
So they make a cannon?
Yeah,
right.
They make a fucking cannon, dude. How
Shield
cool
cannon.
would that be?